Hello and welcome to PiscesMoon Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Kate Leonard, and I'm excited to explore the stars with you. Hello everyone and welcome back. We are going to be talking about the last week of August. That's August 25th through the 31st. And oh my gosh, I'm so glad I finally have some just pretty straightforward good news for us this week. There's no kind of like, well, it's bad, but maybe there will be some good coming, that kind of thing. I feel like that's what we've been having for the last couple of weeks. So let's jump right on into it. Mercury is direct. That's one of the high points. And after that, it is Venus, Venus, Venus. Yes, it is. So we have finished our Mercury retrograde and we're not quite yet to our new eclipse cycle. So I kind of feel like this is our summer vacation before the next kaboom kind of thing happens, right? You know that, I don't know if you remember or if you still get summer vacations, but you know that feeling like when it's almost over and there are those last couple of weeks before school starts back up? That's kind of where we're at, okay? Because we just got out of that Mercury retrograde. We've got some smooth sailing ahead. And then pretty quickly, we're going to jump into the eclipse cycle, and that's its own sort of ball of wax that we'll deal with when we get there. So let's get started. There's a lot, actually. I'm going to try to keep things as short as possible, but I also do want to let you in on these cool Venusian things that are going on, all right? But let's start first with Mercury turning direct on August 28th. Yay! Can we say yay? I am so happy. Not that, I did have a really good Mercury retrograde, I have to say, except for all the tech glitches. Oh my goodness. So I would love to hear from you what Mercury retrograde was for you, but whatever it was, it is officially done. Mercury's turning direct in Leo. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago when we were dealing with the Mercury retrograde energy. So now we've got Mercury stationing direct in Leo. And I want you to remember that when the planet stations direct, that's going to be on the 28th, it's super concentrated energy for a while. So mercurial things about communication, transportation, ideas, all of that kind of stuff is going to be coming up big time around then because Mercury's basically not moving. And then even when he starts going forward in Leo, it takes a while for a planet that's just stationed to pick up speed. So don't expect that just because the Mercury retrograde is over, all of a sudden poof, we're full speed ahead. It's not going to be quite like that. It's never quite like that. So give it a little time, but it's going to happen. The other thing I want to remind you about is this is going to be Mercury's third pass over this portion of Leo. And then even when he goes into that first little section of Virgo later on, he went direct over this territory when he was passing through the first time. Then he retrograded back over it, and now he's going direct again. So we've been here before. What that means is I always tell people to expect to go back over old territory and whatever they've been working on, whatever kinds of ideas have been percolating, whatever projects they've been trying to get off the ground. This is not going to be jump way ahead into new territory. It's more like this is a time of all that stuff that we thought about and then we revised. Now we're going to start moving forward on it and implementing those revisions that we've been making. So I just wanted to say that. Kind of look out for those old themes, old projects, any kind of written work, communications, contracts that you've been reviewing, renegotiating. Now it's going to be time to actually sign them. But it's not going to be brand new material yet. Probably. It may be for some people, but that's going to happen a little bit later after Mercury gets out of what they call the shadow period. I don't actually love that term, but it just means going back over territory that's already been covered. The other thing that I want to remind you about, and we talked about this a lot a couple of weeks ago when we had the new moon. When we set those intentions, it was right at the time that the Mercury retrograde was happening. So we talked about at the time that, that those intentions we set were going to be completely worked into that Mercury retrograde. There was going to be an overlap in those two planetary energies, and that the moon and Mercury eventually crossed paths and all of that. I hope you remember all of that. If not, go back and listen to earlier episodes. Anyway, Mercury is now going direct. So those intentions that we set back in early August, I think it was on the 4th or 5th, those are now going to really take off. It was like we set the intentions, we went back and started revising those intentions, and now finally all of that energy through Leo is going to be moving forward slowly at the beginning, and then it's going to pick up some steam. So go back there and look in your journal or whatever you have to do and remember what your new moon intentions were, because now is the time to incorporate all of the revisions and rethinking and all of that stuff you've been doing about it or doing in relation to those intentions. Now is the time to really start going forward. It's revision time is over and it's time to make some progress. So yay on all of that, right? I couldn't be happier. I also want to remind you one other thing about the new moon, and even just the fact that Mercury now is going to be going direct in Leo. Don't forget that Leo has to do with public recognition, right? It's fame, it's recognition, it's publication, it's getting that raise or recognition at work, being recognized in your relationships or in your family. It depends on what house this falls in for you. So you always want to look at your Leo. You always want to look at your natal chart and see where Leo falls, because that's going to tell you where this progress is going to happen. It's not impossible that it will happen in other places. Mercury is about communication, and of course, that can be taking place in your life in general, that you're moving forward with communication. Mercury is about signing contracts, so that can be in any area of life. But you're going to always be hit hardest. That's kind of the wrong thing to say. You're going to always feel the impact most directly in the house area that is ruled by the sign that's being impacted, and that's Leo. So it's a pretty cool time to get that recognition and all of those accolades, right? The rewards. Those are the kinds of things we're looking at right now. It's like they're right there. And then, as Mercury's picking up steam, we get all this cool Venus stuff. So let me get to that, because that's actually what I really want to talk about anyway. So actually, the day before Mercury goes direct, on August 27th, we've got Venus. Remember, she rules love, art, friendship, money, women, sisters, luxury, leisure time, all of that kind of stuff, all of the just feel good, relate with people, joy kinds of things in our life, right? So we've got the goddess of all of that goodness trining Uranus in Taurus. Okay, so let's break this down. First off, a trine is super positive. It means that the energy between the two planets is flowing well. There are no hiccups in it. We were talking last week about squares and how you have to navigate these sharp corners. A trine is like the opposite of that. And in fact, they say that a trine has like the energy of Venus, smoothness to it. Venus likes to smooth things out and keep things harmonious. And that's the energy of a trine as well. So this is perfect for her. The other thing that's perfect about this, we'll get to Uranus in a minute, I promise. But Uranus is in Taurus and Venus rules Taurus. So hoorah, right? And here's what that means. Venus is the host of the sign that Uranus is placed in. That means it's her responsibility to take good care of, a planet that's passing through her kingdom, right? That's how it works. So we've got a lot of positivity around this aspect. I've already talked about what Venus rules, all the good stuff, right? Uranus is weird, like very literally weird. Uranus is, not classified as either a good or a bad planet, or as the ancient astrologers said, a benefic or malefic planet. Uranus is just Uranus. Uranus brings unexpected, usually dramatic change. So whether he's good or bad depends on, one, how well you tolerate change, and also kind of who he's interacting with. So now we know he's interacting with Venus in a trine. This is all good. Uranus rules the unexpected, rules freedom and rebellion. If you're into tarot cards, Uranus is kind of the tower, right? It's like blow it up, make it go boom so that we can get to what's essential or what's real or what's new that needs to be built, right? So it's an interesting planet. So this is really important that you look at where Uranus is. Where's Taurus in your chart? That's going to tell you a lot. And remember, at this point, Venus is still in Virgo. Now, I will say she's not super thrilled to be in Virgo. We've got the goddess of love in the home of the Virgin. It's not a great match, but Venus is always good no matter what. And with this Uranian energy, boosting her, I'm not worried about her being in Virgo. I will say, though, one thing that comes to mind with this energy, and she's not in Virgo very long, because another good thing that's going to happen, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, is she's going to go into Libra, her other home sign. So it's going to be a really good thing. But she's still in Virgo for like a couple of days at this point. And one of the things that Virgo is good at is details, right? Details and systematizing things and all of that kind of deal. So this is a really good time if you're working on these new projects and all of this stuff. Get your systems in place. Create your checklist, your to-do list, your organizational flow of how you're going to want this thing to go, once you really got it moving forward now. If we're talking about a relationship, it's not so much a checklisty kind of thing. But you might do things like journal your intentions or how you see things moving forward. I don't know. I just wanted to point out, though, that Venus in Virgo, trining Uranus, is really good for putting systems in place. So that's something to consider. The other thing that this energy is amazing for, and I'm super exciting, is breakthroughs, right? And I know a lot of us, especially during this Mercury retrograde time, we've been like, oh my gosh, I am so stuck. When is this going to start moving forward? I feel like I've been revising and I just want to move forward, right? This is the energy that's going to do that. Like I said, this is happening. This is beginning, and it keeps going. We're going to feel this energy all week. But this is happening the day before Mercury stations direct. So this is super good timing. We are going to have breakthroughs in our relationships, breakthroughs in art, breakthroughs at work with our family, exciting job offers, promotions, proposals, depending on where this is hitting in your chart. You know, that thing that it's like you've been wondering, are we going to do that thing? Are we going to take it to the next level? Whatever. It could just be that, you know, one night while eating a pizza, or I don't know what you guys do, but, you know, whatever you're doing, suddenly somebody's just like, hey, let's get married. Like out of the blue. That's Uranus, Venus, right? Just out of the blue. Also, depending on where this is hitting in your chart, unexpected pregnancy. So have you been trying or not? If you're not, be really careful. Because unexpected pregnancy is very possible. Now, I know you're all of you, not all of you. I know that there's a certain group of you listening to this that you're like, oh my goodness. Okay, for those of you, look to see if either of these planets is in your fifth house. If either of these planets is in your fifth house, you may have that unexpected pregnancy. So if that's a good thing for you, congratulations. And if that's not what you're looking for in your life, you might want to do whatever it is you need to do or not do, because that's a possibility for sure. Okay, so you get it, but I really am loving it. As a writer, I have to have a shout out to my writer and artist friends. You know, look for those breakthroughs, those creative breakthroughs this week. It's going to be fantastic. I am so excited about this aspect. I can't tell you. So change. It's a week where we're going to see change, and I love it. Okay. Here's the next thing. On the 28th then, that's the exact day Mercury's stationing direct. We've still got the energy of this Venus-Uranus thing going on, but on the 28th, Venus goes into an exact opposition with Neptune. Anyone who knows me, all of you who know me out there, and I know some of you listening know me and have worked with me, I really hate Neptune. I know hate's a hard word, right? But I really kind of do. I don't like Neptune. So let me just get that piece out of the way, because everybody's like, but Kate, Neptune's so spiritual and so cosmic. Yeah, he can be that, all right. He can also just be a liar and a deceiver. He can make it hard to see things clearly. He's the god of the ocean, for goodness sake. Picture going underwater at the ocean, even in a swimming pool, and that's way easier to see in than the ocean, right? But then open your eyes, and even in a swimming pool, right, vision is distorted. In the ocean, it's even worse. I don't know. I haven't been in the ocean in quite a long time, but ew. It's worse, right? It's very hard to see. He's also another metaphor or whatever that I kind of use is he's those rose-colored glasses that get us in trouble. You know, when you've been dating someone who's like the same kind of someone you said you'd never date before, but like when you guys were getting together, that person really seems so different. Yeah, and then you took off the rose-colored glass. Like all your friends were like, oh, that's the same person. Oh my gosh, what are you doing, right? And you finally take off the rose-colored glasses and you're like, oh, I did it again, right? Isn't there a song like that? Like, oops, I did it again or something. I don't know. I may have just made that up. Anyway, I don't like Neptune. I don't like Neptune. That's all there is to it. So that's what I got to say. So and an opposition is tense. We've got Venus and Neptune opposing each other. So that's tense. Neptune, by the way, is in Pisces at this point. So if you want to check your chart. But here's the thing. I think that this Venus-Neptune opposition could go a lot of ways. And normally I'd be giving you some pretty big warnings about this one. But as I always tell you, nothing happens in a vacuum. And first, even though this goes direct on the 28th, I think we'll be feeling it like maybe the 26th, 27th, 28th. After that, it is no more because Venus is going to leave that sign. She's going to move into Libra. And so the opposition will be broken. So we're only really talking about a few days that we're going to feel this energy, and nothing happens in a vacuum. So it's not just that Venus is opposing Neptune. We've also got Mercury stationing, and we've got Uranus, the unexpected kaboom guy. So what I'm thinking could be happening is that we will clear matters up. So with Mercury in the mix and with this unexpected change in the mix, I think what could happen is we will break through Uranus, right? We're going to break through any illusions that we were having in whatever areas of life this is about. I am thinking this is going to be mostly relationships, whether that's love, work, family, friendships, whatever. That's where I think this is going to be happening. We could get surprising information that lets us see these relationships more clearly. As I said, we could get some kind of startling event that happens that kind of clears things up that have been murky for a while. So it's a kind of like breaking free of illusions. I know I don't say that word very well. We'll break free of illusions so that we can move forward, which is really the energy of this week with Mercury and then with Venus changing signs. We've really got a lot of forward movement happening. So as I've already said, Venus is moving into home sign Libra. That happens on August 29th. Now she is the queen on her throne. She is in her own kingdom. No more of this land of the virgins where she's kind of like, what the heck? I don't even know how to act here. She is in her own domain now. And this is super good for all of us because now we really get Venus at her best, right? For a while, we had her going through under the beams of the sun, combustion, all of that stuff when she was invisible. Then she goes into a sign, Virgo, that she doesn't love being in. So it's been an awkward time for Venus for a really long time. So for all of you who have been feeling, I know, because I get the phone calls and the emails. For all of you who have been feeling really frustrated in relationships, in work issues, I've had a lot of clients with falling out with friendships. That's Venus. All of these things, people have been so frustrated for a while. That should really be clearing up now. When she goes into Libra, again, like I said, we get her at her best. And I think with Mercury direct, with Venus at home, I think the relationship stuff is going to smooth out, go well, Libra's about balance and fairness. I think we're going to find balance finally in our relationship issues that have been going on. I think we're also going to be finding balance with money, which is going to be a really good thing for some of us. I will tell you that right now. And I think in our comfort level in our lives, that's really a Venus thing. And mostly, well, Taurus as well. She rules Taurus and they like being comfortable too. But Libra is so much about balance. It's really a good time to sort of balance our schedules, right? Are we getting enough rest? Are we having enough fun? Are we doing good work, right? But are we balancing all of those things so that our lives are more harmonious and peaceful and fulfilling, all qualities that are Venus. So this is a really good time to kind of look at your life and say, where am I out of balance, right? Where am I working too hard or am I not working hard enough? Am I not making progress? Venus also likes quality, right? So have you been kind of slacking because you've just been feeling sort of like blah in all of the Mercury retrograde stuff, right? Well, this is time to kind of pick that stuff up and start really going for quality. Venus is not so much about like, hey, let's work hard. She likes luxury, like she likes leisure time, right? But she does also like quality. So if this is impacting you in some work area or creative area of your life, you may want to see, are you really are you putting in your best and getting out that top-notch kind of result that you want? But with that, are you having enough fun? When was the last time you went out with your friends? When was the last time you had dinner with your sisters? Venus rules sisters. So if you haven't seen your sis in a long time, it might be time to take her out for, I don't know, what do you guys go out for? You know, a cocktail? Maybe a tea? I don't know. You do you, but go see your sister. So it's just that kind of time. Find balance, and enjoy life. Remember, I said at the beginning of all of this, it's a little bit like those last 2 weeks of summer vacation. You know, school is coming and you've got that terrible English teacher. So you're going to really like just grab on to summer vacation and just love every minute of it. That's where we're at right now. That's really where we're at right now. But also rest and things like that. So if you've been burning the candle at both ends, as they say, make sure that you're getting some time to just kick back, right? Venus loves things like going into nature, meditating in nature. A lot of people don't remember that Venus is born from the ocean as well. So walking by the ocean, if you're lucky enough to be near the sea, all of those kinds of things. Doing it with friends, even better. Doing it with friends and a lover, better still, more Venusian still. And then invite your sister and you got the whole gang, right? So it's an amazing week. I hope I was able to make all of that come together for you. But what it really is forward momentum with Mercury and all things ideas, communication, all of that kind of stuff. Forward momentum in relationships, what in all areas of life, wherever those relationships are. Breakthroughs and dynamic new energy and just forward momentum. I am loving this week so much. And we've got some time before we get to eclipse season, which is mid-September. So it really is like the end of summer vacation. I advise you to grab it and go with it and just have a really, really great time. So that's what I've got for you this week. I hope all of that kind of made sense. I know it's a lot of big energy. As always, thank you so much for being here and sticking with me through this whole episode. And please do all the things like and share. Sharing is the most important, honestly. As a new channel, I'm trying to grow. And if you can pass me on to other people, that would be so brilliant and I would be so grateful. So now go out and seize the energies of the stars. That's my wish for you always. And thank you. I will talk to you next week. Bye.